Hi, Philip Griffith here with PSG Photo Solutions, and I'm here with Darla DeMorrow. And what's the name of your company?
HeartWork Organizing. We're based outside of Philadelphia.
Right, and you do both home organizing and photo organizing.
Yes. We do photo organizing, and that's about half of our business, home and business organizing, and I do business coaching for entrepreneurs.
And you've spoken at the Photo Managers Conference several years.
I think
in a row.
Almost every year, yeah.
Yep. So tell me something that you've been doing with your clients, sort of what's the most common pain point, and then what have you done with a client this past year?
The thing I'm actually training on here at conference is I'm calling it fantastic finish, which is how to, after you organize a project, that's kind of where everybody starts as a question. How do I organize a project? But really, the end of the project is its own pain point, to use your expression. And also, it's something that, there's certain resources that, because we're not doing print photos in the same way that we used to 100 years ago, we don't necessarily have the same resources to store those print photos in our modern life.
Yeah.
And so to get those photos ready to digitize, a lot of times we're pulling them out of old, failing, deteriorating albums. We are now putting them in some sort of storage. A lot of people naturally think of like a shoebox type of thing, but the lower quality shoeboxes, photo storage boxes are not the best storage. They're actually, in most cases, they're too small.
Yeah.
For a lot of photos. You found that too, right? You think you're buying a photo storage box, and then it turns out, there's so many different sizes, and
and you can fit about half of what you have in that box, and like, what do I do with all the rest?
Yeah. So working with a professional photo organizer like me, like you, like our colleagues here at the conference, we have access to really beautiful storage containers that are, they're souped up boxes that have compartments for not only photos, but we put media like old discs and camera cards, military medals, the larger photos actually fit inside the top. So most of the material will fit in the divider containers. So that's one of my favorite ways to present a finished product. And the idea behind that is you spend time and energy and money on organizing your photos. You don't just want to throw it back in a closet or the basement. You want to have it beautifully presented so that, at the next holiday, when the kids are home, when the grandkids are home, you can pull that thing right off the bookshelf in the living room and say, look at your mom when she was in, 12th grade, 8th grade or whatever.
You can find that because
you can find it in a snap.
It's documented and labeled and everything. It's right there. Yes.
Yeah.
So
that's one example of, you're thinking, what am I going to do with these finished, printed photos once they're organized? And we have the solution. We're, making sure that all of our colleagues have access to that solution, and that, clients can find what they need working through us. And then there's also all these other photo assets that we have, old VHS tapes, and really, like I said, military medals. We have in our workflow, we have it's a diary that somebody who's recently passed away. She's the grandmother of the family. It's her diary going through nursing school, either right before or right after the Holocaust.
Oh my.
And so there's family history there, and everybody in the family is now a doctor. So, her nursing school, documented, journey through nursing school in this diary, it's falling apart, right? It's 80 years old, but now that grandma's gone, it's even more important to maybe preserve that. So we're doing some things chemically to preserve the paper. We're going to rebind it. We're going to then put it in, a storage box that's appropriate for that, so that it can go right on the bookshelf, and the family can access it when they want to walk down memory lane, and they don't have to worry about it. We'll also digitize it so that you know, we can, and it's all in Hebrew, so I can't read it. So, but we'll digitize it so they they have that access to the words and the diagrams. She's got little, you know, doodles in there, and all of those things. No matter if you have a media project or a print project, or there's some keepsake, some military medal, or you know, pin that you got when you were in 3rd grade and it means something to you. All of that can be stored in a way that it doesn't get shucked away again, right? It stays in your life, and it's accessible, and that's really what we want for our clients.
Right, it's organized, you know where it is, and if you've digitized, often that physical organization is mirrored in the digital organization.
Yes, yeah. It's a necessary step to put things in order, to get to an organized digital collection, which is really what most of your clients too, right, want. But the physical remainder of the project is just as valuable and can be just as beautiful and accessible in your home. Yeah.
Well, and I don't know if you've been finding these in Central Ohio. I've been finding a lot of tin types and amber types, which we're talking 1860s to 1880s, and those actually are valuable.
They're valuable, but people don't know what they are. They don't know what to do. They don't know if they, you know, keep them together. Take the, you know, people often will try and take the frames apart, but the frames are actually part of the photo. They are the container. So in our presentation back to the client, you know, those will be separated and cushioned and you know, presented as a group, just of those, instead of, you know, things come to us in cardboard boxes and old suitcases,
all dumped together and, you know, disorganized. But so
it's you know, it's fun. It's something that we normally do. But again, if this is something that, you know, you're only organizing your own photos and you're only doing it once, then you don't have experience, you don't have history, you don't know what the good suppliers are, you don't know, you know, these are not products that we're getting off Amazon.
Well, yes. In fact, I remember it was a big deal to be able to find someone who made archival quality where it was passing the photographic activity test. Because most of what you find at Michael's and other craft stores, they don't.
Yeah. So we're really enjoying sharing that here, and I hope, thank you for allowing me to, you know, to talk about this and maybe give people sort of an idea that starting the project is important, but also how you finish is going to be just as important to your own level of satisfaction.
Yeah, and it's important to finish because unfortunately, a lot of people start and they realize, oh, this is taking a lot of time, a lot of effort, and they don't finish. And that's why you really do want to come and have a professional photo manager work with you. So stay tuned for more interviews, and I will see you next time.